Hey folks, welcome back to True Crime Stories, where we cover the most thrilling true crime stories. Before we get going, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for me. Thanks. And now let's get into today's story.
Welcome back, listeners. We're diving into a case today that's, well, it's got all the elements of a classic mystery, secrets, betrayal, and a murder that rocks a seemingly peaceful town. We're talking Crestwood, a charming little place known for its annual harvest festival.
Yeah, you got it. Idyllic setting, right? This year, though, there's a shadow hanging over the festivities. Helen Grayson, the town historian, the keeper of Crestwood's history, is found dead, just days before the festival kicks off.
Talk about shock to the system, right? It's like 1 minute you're prepping for a celebration, the next, bam, you're dealing with a murder investigation. And the scene where Helen was found, well, let's just say it adds an extra layer of creepiness to the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking a half-finished cup of tea, steam still rising, an open book on her table, The Shadows of Crestwood, filled with handwritten notes, cryptic references to townspeople.
Okay, stop right there. Cryptic notes,
Yeah.
references to townspeople. This is starting to sound like something out of a detective novel. Was she onto something dangerous? Did someone silence her?
Well, that's what we're here to explore, right? As the investigation unfolds, we're introduced to a cast of characters, each with their own secrets and motives, making it almost impossible to tell who might be responsible.
Okay, so lay it on me. Who are our suspects?
Well, first up, we've got Mark Thompson, powerful real estate developer, big plans for Crestwood. But Helen, she was fiercely opposed his development project.
Classic conflict of interest. So we've got a motive right there. Money and progress versus preserving the past. What else?
Then there's Claire Simmons, a rival historian, different vision for Crestwood's history. And let me tell you, their disagreements were more than just academic.
Oh, so there's some bad blood there. Personal grudge, maybe? We're talking two historians battling it out for control of the town's narrative. This is getting good. Who else is in the mix?
All right, buckle up. We also have Rita Palmer, a local florist, and Helen's confidant. Seems harmless enough, right? But as we dig deeper, we find out Rita's got a past that might be connected to the secrets Helen was trying to protect.
Okay, now it feels like everyone in this town's got a skeleton in their closet. Is there anyone else we should be suspicious of?
Oh, there's one more. Jacob Sanders. Disgraced journalist, had a score to settle with Helen. She was the one who exposed his, let's say, creative reporting methods.
So he's back in town, maybe for revenge. We've got a developer, a rival historian, a friend with a hidden past, and a journalist with a grudge. This is a tangled web we're weaving here. Where do we even begin to unravel it all?
Well, the investigation starts on a warm August evening. Mrs. Carter, Helen's neighbor, goes to visit, expecting their usual tea time. But instead, she finds,
Helen.
yeah, dead.
And the crime scene itself, I mean, you mentioned the tea, the book.
Yeah.
Anything else that stands out?
Oh, yeah. There's one more chilling detail. The window leading out to the garden, it was wide open.
Okay, now that's just eerie. So what was it? Natural causes? Or something more sinister?
At first, the police think maybe it was a medical emergency. Helen wasn't a young woman after all. But then the coroner's report comes back. And it's not good.
Not good how?
Bruises on her arms, a mark on her neck. This wasn't just some peaceful passing. This was murder. And the idyllic image of Crestwood, well, it shatters. The investigation begins, and what they uncover shakes the town to its core.
So we've got a murder in paradise, a cast of suspicious characters, and a town grappling with a dark secret.
Exactly. And the question becomes, what was Helen about to reveal? And who was desperate enough to silence her? Welcome back. Last time we left off with Crestwood reeling from Helen's murder. That peaceful facade, gone.
The investigation was just starting to heat up, and let me tell you, things are about to get really interesting.
Okay, I'm all ears. We've got those 4 suspects, each with their own secrets and motives. Where do we go from here? What's the next big break in the case?
Well, it all starts with Helen's book, The Shadows of Crestwood. It wasn't just some dry account of the town's past. It was her life's work.
So more than just dates and names, what kind of stuff was she digging into? Helen was uncovering the hidden stories, the whispers and rumors that had been buried for years, the things people didn't want to talk about. And guess what? One of those stories, it leads right back to Mark Thompson's development project.
Okay, now we're talking. What's the connection?
Turns out, the landmark was so eager to develop. It wasn't just some empty field. Generations ago, it was the site of a thriving community.
A whole community. What happened to them?
They were forcibly displaced, driven out by a powerful family. And guess who their descendants are?
Oh, no way, Mark Thompson.
You got it. So suddenly, This development project, it's not just about profit anymore. It's about erasing a dark chapter in his family's history.
So he's not just greedy, he's trying to bury the sins of his past. Talk about adding fuel to the fire. This guy's got motive in spades. What about the other suspects? Did Helen's book shed any light on them?
Well, Claire Simmons, the rival historian, it
Hmm.
turns out she was working with Mark Thompson, downplaying the whole displaced community thing, saw it as an inconvenience, a blemish on Crestwood's image.
Wow, so she was actively trying to erase history. What about Rita Palmer, Helen's friend? Did she know anything about all this?
Turns out Rita had confided in Helen about some personal problems, and guess who was involved? Mark Thompson. He was connected to the guy who was harassing her. Rita had no idea, not until Maya and Ethan dug it up.
So she's caught in the middle. Does she stay loyal to Helen and risk exposing her own past, or does she protect herself and let the truth stay buried? That's a tough spot to be in. What about Jacob Sanders, the journalist? Was he just chasing a story, or was there something more to it?
Well, Jacob was definitely onto something. He'd stumbled upon the same historical scandal that Maya and Ethan uncovered. But remember, he wasn't exactly known for playing by the rules.
So he was pushing for the truth, but maybe pushing too hard, making enemies along the way.
Exactly. And with the Harvest Festival approaching, the tension in Crestwood is reaching a boiling point. You can feel it in the air, the sense of anticipation, like something's about to break.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're in the final stretch of our investigation into Helen Grayson's murder, and the tension in Crestwood is, well, you can cut it with a knife. The Harvest Festival, meant to be a time of celebration, has become this pressure cooker of secrets ready to explode.
It's like the whole town's holding its breath, waiting for the truth to come out. And Maya and Ethan, they know they have to act fast before it's too late.
But how do they do it? I mean, they're not the police, they don't have any real authority. How do they expose the truth without putting themselves in danger?
They're smart about it, you see. They start subtly planting seeds of doubt, reminding people of Helen's dedication to the truth.
So they're playing the long game, building up to something big.
Exactly. And the climax. It all goes down at the festival. They orchestrate a meeting with Mark Thompson, get Claire and Rita there too. And you know Jacob Sanders, he's not going to miss this for the world.
So they've got all the key players in one place. What happens next?
Maya and Ethan, they lay it all out. The connection between Mark's project and the displaced community, the threats against Helen, the whole 9 yards, and the evidence. Let's just say they've done their homework.
Wow. So the truth is finally out in the open. How do the suspects react? Do they confess?
Mark, he tries to deny it at first, but the evidence is too strong. Claire, she breaks down, admits to helping Mark manipulate the town's history. And Rita, she makes a tough choice, but she decides to honor Helen's memory, tells everyone what she knows about Mark and his threats.
So it all falls apart just like that. What about Jacob? What does he do?
Jacob, he sees his chance to redeem himself. He backs up Maya and Ethan, confirms their findings, even admits to his own questionable methods in the past.
Wow. So he comes clean in front of the whole town. That's got to be a humbling experience.
So-
What about the townspeople? How do they react to all this?
They're shocked, angry, they feel betrayed by the people they trusted, but there's also a sense of relief, like a weight has been lifted. The truth is finally out.
So what happens next? What about the legal fallout? Does Mark Thompson face justice for what he's done?
The police arrest Mark. He's charged, goes to trial. But it's not a clear-cut case. There's debate about whether the punishment fits the crime. And the town, well, it's divided. Some feel justice has been served, others aren't so sure.
It's that the echoes of this case, they just keep reverberating, even after the trial is over. What about Claire and Rita? What happens to them?
Claire, she's consumed by guilt. Steps down from her position, starts researching the stories of the displaced community, trying to make amends. And Rita, she uses her experience to help others, becomes an advocate for victims of abuse.
So even though this whole thing started with a tragedy, there's some good that comes out of it. What about Maya and Ethan? Did they stay together after all this?
Their bond is stronger than ever. They've been through so much together, faced danger, fought for justice. And in the end, their connection, it blossoms into something more, something deeper.
That's beautiful. A reminder that even in the darkest of times, love can find a way. What about Crestwood itself? Does the town ever really recover?
It takes time, but Crestwood starts to heal. They form a historical preservation committee, led by Maya, to make sure the past isn't forgotten. They reevaluate the development project, taking into account the town's history. It's a slow process, but they're moving forward, trying to build a better future, one that honors the truth.
It's a powerful reminder that even after a tragedy like this, a community can come together, learn from its mistakes, and create a better future. But it also makes you wonder, right? Could a town like Crestwood, with its secrets and hidden histories, exist anywhere? Maybe even in our own backyards?
It's a question we all need to ask ourselves. What stories are hidden in our own communities? What truths are waiting to be uncovered?
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into echoes in the stillness. Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and remember, sometimes the most peaceful places hold the darkest secrets.